Welcome once again to The Reading Room,
Yes,
the YouTube companion show to the podcast called The Comic Shop. This is Scott, my name is Eric. Today is Sunday, October 15th, 2017.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. I mean, the bar is so low at this point. It's like if I don't screw up the date, then already we've had a good show. It doesn't matter what happens after that. All right, so there you go. So yes, Facebook.com/TheComicShop1, at TCS Podcast on Twitter. Look for The Comic Shop at The Comic Shop 1 on Instagram. That's where we're getting a lot of motion lately. So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. I just picked up a couple of brand new wings. New wings. The Batman, the White Knight.
That's beginning a lot of play like on the internet. People are talking about this book.
It's weird for me, being not a DC fan, but I am also a Batman fan. But
Not an anti-DC.
not anti-DC by any means. No.
Right.
But artwork is really good. Art, Sean Murphy.
Script, art,
Covers.
and covers.
Colors and covers and colors. Matt Hollingsworth. Story.
The story is, Sean Wolford is doing the script, so yeah.
There you go. It opens with the Batmobile driving up to Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
But the Batman doesn't get out of the Batmobile. Jack Napier gets out of the Batmobile.
Yes, and they're using Jack Napier
Yes,
as the alter ego of the Joker. Call back to the Burton film.
absolutely. It's really good. The artwork is really cool. Dark.
Yeah,
really,
dark. There's some gritty stuff. The Batman is very, seems to be kind of evocative of the Frank Miller Batman in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a little grizzled
Mhm.
and locked up in Arkham. And that's just a couple of pages of the first book. Then it goes back to a year ago to this final foray that they had of a chase across Gotham. And Batman's like cut loose, like doing stuff that's kind of not characteristic for Batman.
All the stuff that Batman wants that people always criticize the Batman for not doing, especially when it comes to the Joker.
Yeah, he's doing right
Some
here.
of that stuff seems to be going on here.
Reckless endangerment of civilians,
Yeah.
destruction of public property, just being crazy.
Just basically like a DC movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. And Nightwing shows up, Batgirl's in the Batmobile with Batman during this. I love what he calls him.
Mullet.
Mulwing, yeah. Ooh, I like the improv, Mulwing.
That wasn't a bad.
That wasn't a bad Joker. But yeah, they end up not in a gun factory, not in a chemical factory, but in a FDA pharmaceutical dump where they're going to be getting rid of these medications. And the Joker is laying out a big diatribe about how he could have beaten Batman at any time because, you know, he's his biggest fan, which makes him his greatest villain because he likes to challenge him to make him better. And it's odd. It's really odd.
No, we've seen that before. I can't
You're gonna
remember
have to
where we've
read
seen that
this.
before, yeah.
He says, we're Gotham's greatest power couple. And like any couple, we have to fight. So Batman's beating the snot out of him, which usually happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets talking about these pills. He holds up a bottle of pills. No idea what they are. He says, if I can get better, I can get this city back on track. And finally show you that you need me. And Batman's like, oh yeah? You want to take these pills? And he jams them all down his throat.
Yeah.
And that sparks a whole lot of hate for Batman. Not only because he's on camera beating the snot out of this guy who's already subdued, but then he forces all these pills down his throat.
Mm-hmm.
So now the GCPD has to look different at Batman, which at this point, their standpoint on Batman was they don't condone or work with him. At this point.
Wink, wink, nudge.
Wink, nudge, nudge, yeah. But the Joker is in a coma, and you know, well, that's a cool splash page.
That's going to be an overlay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might even be an overlay.
There's a medals, yeah.
Yeah.
Another.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Joker wakes up. Yeah, where are we here? Oh, Alfred's sick down in the back, and he's working with Victor Freeze in order to prolong or postpone what's happening I'm not sure what exactly is wrong with him,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't really get too far into that. And then the Joker wakes up, and there's a whole bunch of story about these things that he wants to do. And there's newscasters talking about the bat and how wrong and all that. And just, it's a really engaging but weird story. And this is the commissioner and Bullock and the warden meeting with the newly reformed Jack Napier.
Mm-hmm.
And he lays out this whole thing about lawsuit and all kinds of stuff, because he's been in the library studying law.
Yeah, okay.
He's no longer the crazy, off the bend Joker. Yeah. So I'm going to be her
The
white
White
knight.
Knight, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Call back
Button-
to the Nolan
the
films.
button
The
story.
Button, the Button story.
Oh, I see that. There's the Len Wein.
Yep.
Oh, and that's it for that. But yeah, this is just the first part. And yeah, you need to
People,
read- you
yeah,
need to
that's
read
got
that.
some legs, especially on the internet right now. People are talking about how good this story is going to end up as it gets told more and more. We're pretty excited about it.
Mm-hmm. As follow-up to your representation.
You know, at this point, we might as well cover all of them.
Well, I don't know about all of them. I had to get this one.
Because I don't think I talked about it, but I got the Hawkeye one.
Yeah, you told me about it, but we
Yeah.
didn't talk about it.
And I talked about the Wolverine
read
one,
that.
the Generations. We just...
Well, this is the Miles Morales, Peter Parker generation.
Surprise, surprise.
The Spider book. Why wouldn't I get that one,
Right.
right? And when I read through the Wolverine generations and I read through this, I've come to the realization that these characters are displaced in time. Why? We don't know. By
Right.
whom? We still don't know.
It's one of those things where maybe Captain Exposition is not even actually going to tell us. Because
It could be.
the meat and bones of this, the meat and potatoes of this, rather, is the interactions between the legacy characters and their newer version.
Yeah.
So whatever the mechanism is that makes that happen, there you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the opening line.
Yeah.
In an instant apart, a moment beyond, loose from the shackles of past, present, future, a place where time has no meaning, but where true insight can be gained. Make your choice, select your destination. This journey is a gift. That's the same.
It sounds like the intro to a Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Yeah, that's the same intro that they
Yes,
did in the other
that's
one.
true. That's true.
But yeah, like this one is not quite the brawl that the Wolverine one was.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little more cerebral, a little more emotional. Yeah, I can't really get more in depth than that. But this artwork, it reminds me of the old Romita Jr.
Right, this is-
like the original Stan Lee stuff.
This is the artwork is specifically a callback. I think. And
Yeah.
They did that on purpose.
So I don't know if this is early college or late high school for Peter, but Miles shows up dressed in
Right.
period garb with his spider suit on underneath and has no idea where he is to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Then he runs smack dab into a young Peter Parker, knocking everything in
A young
hand.
Peter Parker going back to looking very, very, very much like
Yeah,
some original Romita stuff, like conceptualized by Stan Lee.
oh yeah. Well, the Osborn kid.
There's
There's Flash.
There's his hair. There's Osborn's
Yeah,
hair.
that
Yeah,
little cornroll looking
It's like
stuff.
reversed, like the perpendicular cornrow looking thing.
That's Flash. I'm not sure if
Mhm.
that's Felicia. No, that wouldn't be Felicia. Anyway. Gwen Stacy. Yeah, that's Gwen Stacy.
Okay. Well, why not?
But Miles is listening to these guys talk about Peter, and Flash and Norman are talking about doing a prank on him.
Mhm.
And Morales was like, you guys are jerks. You're supposed to like this guy, and you're being jerks. So he storms out and runs into him again.
Look at the hair.
Yeah.
With the curly Q.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yep.
And Miles is about to pull up his shirt and show off the spider costumes. You know what? Never mind. Forget I said anything. See you later. Have a good day. And Peter's like, hey, what? Wait. And he chases him, but he climbs up, all swings away. And Peter sees him swing away. Huh. What? But Miles goes back to his old neighborhood, to his old house, where he knew he was living at this particular moment in time. And he finds himself meeting his best friend and playing with toys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, that's cool. Then he ends up having a little conversation with his own mother. which is kind of neat too. And she tells him, "You better move along before she has to call somebody."
Yeah.
And then he's sitting alone, talking to himself about what he just did. He says,
I like that.
"You went and cried to your mother? What kind of Spider-Man are you?" He says.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, city drop.
Nice. It's definitely in Queens, north side of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Well, yeah, that's where the Beagle is.
Yeah,
The
you got the
Beagle.
Beagles right there. Or wait, no. There's something messed up about that panel, geographically. Never mind, I digress.
It's Marvel Manhattan.
I know, it's Marvel Manhattan. I'm sorry.
But yeah, and Peter gets back to his room and starts throwing a temper tantrum. Because, Aunt May's in the hospital, because this is some linked to a classic Spider-Man story arc, which is, I'll bring that up here in a few minutes. But Miles goes in his bedroom window. "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" And this is the second or third time he's introduced himself. Like, "I'm Miles Morales." And Peter's like, "Yeah, so?" And then he explains to him that he's the future Spider-Man. And Peter's like half hallucinating because he's so tired, because he's been up for days at this point because of the story arc and Aunt May being in the hospital and whatnot. But he's sitting at this chair, and Miles has just laid it out for him. They're talking back and forth about spider people, and I'm going to be the king of spider people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then they go back where Peter is describing the story arc where Dr. Octopus drops underwater laboratory on Peter's back, and it takes everything he's got to get out of that situation. And Peter relates to him. He's like, "You know what I was thinking at that particular moment? I was thinking, this is it. This is it. I'm done. Spider-Man's dead."
We need to be able to look for that panel.
The classic and this?
Yes, and just try to.
Yeah, you can find it.
I could
Sure, you
try to
can
find it. We got to figure out what issue that is because I want to. It'll place it in the timeline.
It will.
Which, I mean, the whole book places it in the timeline. It tells you exactly where it is in.
It says where it is, who he's fighting.
It basically tells you when it is.
And what happened to Aunt May in this thing too. It also it tells you. I didn't want to go too far into detail because we're trying to keep things a little short.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're still in his room. They're still having a combo. Peter gets a call saying your aunt's stabilized. She's going to be fine. Get some rest. And he just starts crying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, this is funny. When you're from, do I still have my hair? It's the only thing I have to know. Please, just tell me. Do I still have my hair?
Still have my hair. That's almost
And they're
like
laughing
that's a
about
meta joke, kind of. Yeah.
Wait, don't answer that.
Mm-hmm.
My imaginary friend. What, you think I'm your imaginary friend? Oh yeah. Yeah. Funny. And then he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired," and starts to fall asleep as Miles is still talking to him. And he drops his mask, which Miles picks up. He ogles it for a second, and then he hands it to him. It's really poignant.
Yes, that last. The last page is wordless.
Yeah.
And the last of it is Miles Morales disappears. Oddly enough,
Peter gets it in his hand, squeeze.
Yeah, I'll give you the Hawkeye one because the Hawkeye ends with
A wordless page?
with Kate Bishop talking to Clint, and Clint falls asleep while they're talking.
Yeah. That's the last panel.
Nice.
Not even close to the end.
Not even close to the end. Honestly, not. That is pretty cool. I'm really liking this generation, so I'm probably gonna end up picking up all of them.
Yeah,
I may not pick up the Spider-Man one because
more.
you got that one, but I've definitely decided I want to pick up the Tony and Riri one, the Iron Man one, Iron Man Ironheart.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty cool. All right.
That was it for me.
Moving on. So, I've been waiting for this. I have been waiting for this for a little bit. This book here is called Alien Toilet Monsters.
Oddly enough.
Yes, it is. Look, there's one on the cover. All right, so very, very, very quick background on this book and why we're talking about it is...
Also an indie book.
Also an indie book, and I'm very, very, very into talking about the indie books lately.
Yeah.
About a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I noticed that somebody had liked our Facebook page, and that somebody was named Carol Zara. And I did a little bit of research into her, and she is a
Talented lady.
She is a very talented lady. She is a model. I believe she's done some acting. She's also a cosplayer.
Yeah.
And has a following on the internet in in the comics and convention culture.
Just as a cosplayer.
Just as a cosplayer, and now is actually in doing the research to find out she's a creator. And she's the co-creator of this book called Alien Toilet Monsters with a gentleman by the name of Eric Barnett. And this is an indie book. I believe it's self-published, and it came out of Toronto. It's Alien Toilet Monsters is pretty much at the house.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. So I said, okay, she liked the Facebook page. The least I could do is review the book on a YouTube channel.
Sure.
And so it took a while to get it because Diamond doesn't have it. I think they did basically the internet version of Shoe Leather distribution where they're shopping it out to a bunch of shops. There's only a handful of brick and mortars in the country that actually stock it. It's probably less than 50 actual physical stores.
And they're probably closely located to their home.
Well, no, they're all over the place.
Oh, really?
All over the place. But they don't sell, Alien Toilet Monsters doesn't sell their own books online. You've got to make contact with a brick and mortar in order to get the book. Or find it at a con.
I tried that this week with coffin stuff.
That's something pretty interesting, I think. So I finally made connection with a shop, I think in Ohio.
Oh, you had it shipped?
I had it shipped.
Nice.
I've been talking a little bit to my local brick and mortar, but they haven't really gotten back to me, and I decided to just take matters into my own hands. And I basically went down the list and finally found a shop that would ship me a book.
There you go.
And so I'm going to be calling that shop again because I'm going to want them to ship me issues of this book. I don't even think issue 2 is out yet. So anyway, Alien Toilet Monsters. Published by Alien Toilet Monsters. Omnimorphic, maybe that's copyright. Oh, published by Omnimorphic Productions. I don't even know if they have any other books. I haven't been able to. They're really pushing this book. So as far as other titles, I'm not sure. Eric Barnett is doing the art and the story, and co-written with Carol Zara. So here you go. Now, what we're talking about with this Alien Toilet Monsters, obviously you're going to be thinking this is going to be something kind of strange and esoteric. Guess what? You're right. It's got a hardcore sci-fi bent to it. It really does.
Aliens.
There's very much a sci-fi kind of a soft horror almost. In a way you think maybe the soft horror is kind of developing with it.
That's crazy.
Right. This is a
Ding, 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 ding.
desert fox combined with a scorpion. So there's language in this too.
Oh yeah. As with most indie books. It's
The book basically is. I'm trying to think. Okay, let's just talk about the art and the story. The art and the story are excellent and also interesting at the same time. And let me explain that. Is Eric Barnett obviously has got a lot of stuff in his toolbox to work with. He can be very simple. He can be very complex. He plays around with colors. Colors from one page to the next don't necessarily match. They match, but the shading and the
pops,
and the pops, the lighting, especially in some of these things. Like he knows where to put accents. Hardcore, he knows where to put accents. And then he plays around with layouts.
Yeah.
And so the bottom line is how I mean it's like, and this not an ad.
That's not an ad?
This is meta in-universe stuff.
Oh,
this
it's
is
an
like
ad for something.
It's like J.J. Abrams with the Slusho stuff from Lost, and how he put that into the viral content for Cloverfield. You need to.
Hello, nerds.
Okay, yes, this is going to be an overlay. They do a meta. Well, let me finish the point that I was going to make. What he does with the art and also the way the word balloons are structured in the panels. You have to pay attention to the page.
It's a very wordy book.
You have to. Well, a lot of these words, you don't know exactly whether or not they're just kind of like window dressing, or whether or not you need to pay attention. That's why you need to pay attention to the page to really make sure you're getting the most out of the story that they're telling you. And I like that. I like that a lot. Like I really, really, really dig it. I've had to read it twice. I'm going to read it again.
Pages like that I read like top. And then I start to go sideways, and then down.
And then you don't know.
And then I find myself lost, and I'm like...
Because you have to go back, and you realize that you're not reading the balloons in the right order. The panels aren't structured exactly how you would think they are. It's very it's non-traditional in that sense. But it makes you put in the work as a reader.
Yeah.
Now, look at the color change from this page to that page.
I know, right?
It's nuts.
It's a different venue.
It's a different
Planet.
universe. There's a multiverse thing going. I'm not going to get too much into the details of the plot because I don't want to spoil if you decide to pick the book up, the reading of the book itself.
Wow.
But there's like,
Wow.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. There's a lot of like that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes are cool. This is overlays galore here. And then go from that to this, and where's that tone come from? And it's like some interdimensional police force. It's striking how different it is from page to
Things like
page.
evolving throughout the book.
There's a mechanism. Okay, now another thing I want to talk about with Alien Toilet Monsters is in the first issue of Alien Toilet Monsters, there is not a single alien toilet monster.
I know.
There's one on the cover. For the record, there is one on the cover.
And it's scary looking.
But yes, and what it does is it provides you the mechanism wherein you think in this world there could arise such a thing as an alien toilet monster.
Sure.
But the way they present the mechanism is everybody knows about it. They know it exists because being aware of the multiverse and
Just
stuff
a matter
like
of
that.
fact thing in this
Like
particular
this,
universe.
this right here is people watching like some holographic version of the Discovery Channel.
Nice.
Like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, except in a different universe with scorpion desert foxes.
It's weird. It's cool.
It's
though.
very strange. The book is irreverent. It's got some language to it. There is definitely an integral part of this book is social satire, not like social justice commentary, but making like RoboCop style social satire. And
I'd buy that for $1.
exactly, that's what I'm talking about. There's some of that going on in here, and it very much pokes fun at fan culture. Like this rage right here is happening because somebody found out that Carol Zara, the character in the book, got cast in a movie, and this person is mad about her being cast in the movie, and that's why she goes interdimensionally ballistic and turns into some like Cthulhu looking thing. Yes, exactly.
A little crazy. A little cool.
And then this, which will be an overlay right about now. This is
That's a representation of her.
This is Eric Barnett's drawing Carol Zara as a character in the book. And we talked about how Jeff Kaufman probably did that with 9/11.
Yeah.
We talked about, and I mentioned how
Probably much younger Jeff Kaufman.
right, not like Vonnegut did it in a few of his books. Tom Robbins did it back in the 70s with Even Cowgirl Get the Blues. Some creators write themselves into the book in kind of a meta way as a kid, and it's you don't know how that's going to fit in with the rest of the story. You're honestly not even sure what the story is that you're going to be told yet, because they take the time to lay the groundwork. Hence, no toilet monsters in this book. There will be toilet monsters. There is an issue 0. I haven't seen that yet, and I'm not sure if issue 2 is out yet. But what they do with this is they take the time to lay the groundwork for the story that you're going to be told. And I got to be honest with you, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun being told this story. This it's so. I mean, it really is kind of, especially in the terms of being an indie book. I'm liking that we're talking about more indie books and stuff like that lately, because it's like things like passion projects, like the Kaufman stuff.
Oh yeah.
Matt Wagner, even though Image isn't exactly an indie title,
no.
but Matt Wagner doing Mage, that's a passion project.
Yeah.
We talked about
this is his third story arc.
What's that?
For Mage.
Right. We talked way back at the beginning of our show about Firebrand.
Oh yeah.
That Jessica Chobot had a hand in putting out. And now we're talking about this book. There's obviously some serious thought going in. The creators are putting in some like A-level effort into turning this into a story that we're really going to want to be told. And I am very, very, very happy that Carol Zara liked the page and allowed me to stumble upon this book. Alien Toilet Monsters gets a seriously hardcore 2 thumbs up from me. Check it out. Do the legwork.
Yeah.
Find a brick and mortar near you, or call your brick and mortars up that have it. They have a list. Go to alientoiletmonsters.com. They have a list of retailers that have it. Go do what I did. Go down the list and find one that'll ship to you, and then call your local brick and mortar and say, hey man, could you just order up 5 or 10 copies? I can't be the only one in the zip code that's going to want to read this thing, which is what I'm going to do tomorrow. is get on the phone with my brick and mortar and say, hey, I talked to you about this already. I'm going to talk to you about this again. Could you order up maybe 5 or 10 copies of each issue?
Yeah.
Work out a deal with the publisher, because I can't be the only one that's going to pull this off the rack.
Absolutely
You know
not.
what I mean? So you're going to sell the books, and you're going to sell at least one of them because it's going to be added to my pull list if you get it in the shop.
Yeah.
So there you go. Like I said, I have been waiting for this, and I'm very, very, very happy that I finally get. We do a book swap pretty much at the end of every episode.
Stay away from the water.
Stay away from the water. So I'm very happy that I was able to finally read and review Alien Toilet Monsters. Thank you very much to Eric Barnett and Carol Zara for providing that, and thank you very much to Carol Zara again for liking the Facebook page and being aware that we exist, and now we are aware that you exist, and everything is cool. It's wonderful. It's copacetic.
Yes.
Life is grand. Shady.
Don't forget to share our stuff.
And don't forget to
Because
share
we're
our
sharing
stuff.
yours.
Yes. She's a very busy woman.
Absolutely.
She's a very busy woman.
So is Mr. Kaufman.
Yes,
He's still
true.
here.
That's true. Anyway, so October 15th, 2017. There will be most likely, almost 100% guaranteed, no show next week. I am going to have the surgery that I talked about on the podcast to get my eyes fixed. We probably are not going to be able to record a reading room, but we'll be back at it again next week. I predict that I will probably start up Mage as the new house book, because we've got issues 1 and 2 already.
So you read the 3, aren't you?
I don't have 3 yet.
Oh, well,
I have 1 and 2, but by then maybe 3. I think by then I might have 3.
Mm-hmm.
So look for that the week after a week following that. So this is Scott.
Yes, I am.
I am Eric. Facebook.com/theComicShop1 at TCS Podcast 1 on Twitter. At the Comic Shop 1, or look for the Comic Shop on Instagram. I'm really liking the interactions I'm having on Instagram with the new show profile. That's working out pretty good.
Look at that,
You really probably should at this point.
Know how.
It's all right. We'll get you there.
Cheers.
We'll get you there. Okay, I think that's it. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to roll into recording the issue 99 of the Comic Shop right after this. We will be back with you again very soon. Peace and be well.